Is Quitzy a copy? Do our gummies actually work? I'm Vinod Prakash. I'm the founder of Quitzy. And Quitzy was created to make quitting easy and fun. So when I quit smoking 6 years ago, it was one of the hardest things that I did. And I didn't have any system, a method. I had to go through everything on my own. And it was very hard. Once I reached my 2-year mark is when I realized I'm doing something right, which if I'm able to make it into a system and give it to other people, it will make quitting easy for them also. That is how Quitzy was born, with an idea of what if we create a system of program, products and personal help that would assist somebody who is serious about quitting smoking to be finally able to quit smoking. So yes, when Quitzy was planned, that is roughly 1.5-2 years ago, once I reached my 4-5 year mark, I had planned Quitzy in 3 phases. So the phase 1 will be about programs, phase 2 will be about products, and phase 3 will be the entire ecosystem. So why did I plan it in this way? The thought process behind planning it in this way was that, so I knew that there were certain patterns which when used correctly, right, certain things when you do it correctly, quitting becomes very easier. So I wanted to implement these patterns in other people's to see if this actually works, right? And we had tremendous results at that time. This was a clear indication that whatever we were providing them in the program was working for them in a very good way. So now it was time to move on to phase 2. So you can ask me, why not stick to programs and why move on to physical products? There was hundreds of people who attended these programs in various stages and in various types. So most of them, whoever quit smoking, their major problem was they were finding it very difficult to fight their cravings or withdrawals, usually in the evening part, which was leading them have this one puff syndrome where they're like, let me smoke that one last puff and I'll restart again. So we saw 2 problems there. So somehow they're going through this vicious cycle of having stressful evenings where they're anxious, sleeplessness that is spoiling their mood, after which they see only cigarette as their solution to this. So they would convince themselves that let me smoke that one last puff, and they would relapse and the whole cycle would start again. What if we create a product that would assist them in this difficult times in the evening? With that idea itself, we started Flow One's designing. So I remember that I had seen this breathless. I'll put some of photos here if you see. I had seen this rings which had this breathing pipes. So I had seen this like from last 6-7 years, so I know they exist. So the first notion was that, so if it is existing for so long, so this must be working for them. This is a huge industry. So I just bought that sample. We saw it was just a stainless steel straw. So you can see the photos. It was just a stainless steel straw. So, but if you think about this, so whenever a person is having that one last puff thought, his brain is trying to convince him to take that one last puff. What if he has a thing which looks like cigarette and he'll be able to satisfy his hand-to-mouth fixation, and he's able to do breathing and distract himself. That is based on the 4D method. So this might work, was the original idea for Flow One. But the existing products, as you see, they were just stainless steel pipes. So I started designing for that. It was inspired by these products, and we also improved the product drastically. So this is Flow 1.0. This was designed to look like a cigarette, right? Feel like a cigarette, and they can use this whenever they have that hand-to-mouth fixation that they needed to satisfy. Basically, this can be used whenever they had that one last puff craving, was the whole idea, so that they can distract themselves, not take immediate action on smoking. So you keep doing that repeatedly. That might make it easier for them to stay on track, was the whole idea behind Flow One. We launched this and it immediately took off. So we thought, wow, so people are liking this. This is working out for people. Just to be sure, we ran a survey to see if what we think is right. But the truth was completely different. Only roughly 30% of people were happy with the product, or they seemed that it was kind of helping them in some way, and the rest, it was not. And this didn't fit our philosophy of what we set first. If it is not within the standards that we have set, we will not be selling any products. So now we had 2 options. You can see on the screen here, I'm showing exactly when we started selling it and when we stopped it, and when the survey was concluded. So we had 2 options. Either we can continue selling this. If you see, there's hundreds of other people who are doing this. We can continue selling this, or we can develop a new product based on all the feedback that we have got. So you might think that the answer is very easy. They stop selling it, start doing a new product. Hundreds of people are selling this still. And also, you have to see from our point of view, our last company's entire revenue in the last year was 30 lakhs. And somehow this new product in 2 months has made roughly 20 lakhs revenue. And now we have to stop it. But still we stuck to our decision that if any product doesn't meet our standards that we have set, this will not be continued. So we stopped the sales immediately, and we were already working on Flow 2.0 to improve. So original idea for Flow 2.0 arrived from these reviews and feedbacks. If you see, people are asking for more resistance similar to cigarettes or vapes, and also flavors might help. So it was pretty easy to think about, why don't we add something in between the Flow, right? Flow looks like a cigarette. Why don't we add something in between? Maybe cottons, something which will create that resistance, which will also have that flavors. With this idea, Flow 2.0's version started designing our first prototype. So this is how the prototype looks like together. This looks very close to our Flow 1.0 because that is how much I knew about designing. Those are the shapes that I can do in a CAD or just draw it and send it to our manufacturer. But we were testing out the concept whether this is going to work or not. We had to go through multiple versions, where the dimensions of the body was changed to see how the results are, and also for the dimensions of the mouthpiece. And also the internal dimensions were very important. Though the idea was very simple, going through all of those possible combination of having to figure out the dimension of the body, dimensions of the mouthpiece, and also the internal dimension mattered very much to us, because three very big things that we wanted to achieve from this. The first one is that this should have resistance very similar to cigarette or vape. Second one is to make sure that the oil doesn't seep down or it doesn't come when you inhale forcefully. And third one is that when you inhale air through this, it should have flavors. Right? Without that, this whole thing doesn't make sense. We can just stick to the old design. This is where we spent most amount of time figuring out what is the right dimensions, which was giving the right amount of resistance, which made sure that there was no oil leak. And also it made sure that the airflow was right and it was giving flavors. That is how we came up with Flow 2.0. But now if you see this and our final design, and this was our prototype. If you see, it is very similar. The body is very similar. We have maintained the same design language. The mouthpiece has changed. I'll tell you about that. Coming back to this prototyping, this is the phase where once our prototype was finalized, we saw that the idea is working out, the resistance is there, the flavor is coming up. When I started searching for inspirations to design this to look more aesthetic and have that feel that this is a finished product. If you see this doesn't feel like a finished product, at least in my eyes. So now once this idea was ready, that's when we started searching for inspirations from vapes or any similar devices that would help us to make this more appealing. So that's when we came across a brand in USA which is named Fume, F-U-M. So obviously our first name, we never inspired from the name. Our first product was already named Flow. But when I discovered Fume, it was both happy and a sad moment for us, for me especially, because happy that, okay, this is a big product, there is a big company built on this, and this works. We could learn a lot from them. Sad because it was frustrating that we had to go through this, all the process that I just showed you to land with our very own product. After more refinement, we landed at this. This mouthpiece design is ergonomical, it's easier for you to keep in your mouth. It is comfortable, it provides the grip that you require, and also this looks aesthetic. If you see this, because of my lack of knowledge in designing and having very limited skills in AutoCAD, led to this being designed very minimalistic, very simple, and that gave this an elegant appearance. So now the big question is, why did I say that I was not sure when I knew a similar product existed? So here's what happened on the stage. Just telling you my perspective. See, we were really nervous, excited on Shark Tank basically, and we went in, our pitch went really good. We had spent 3 days preparing for the pitch and nothing else we had prepared. To give a pitch in a language that we were not comfortable in, that took significant amount of our energy and time. We were just prepared with general numbers about the company and all of those things. But when we went inside, after our pitch, we were prepared to answer questions about Flow, but suddenly the conversation was taken towards our gummies, which I'll explain later on in this video. Right, I lost most of my confidence the moment that interaction with Namita ma'am happened. And after that, the conversation was happening very smoothly. They were interested in Flow. So I was being very specific, and we are telling that there is no other product similar to this exists in India. And we're specific about India, the way I was fixated on being about India. And suddenly even I think Piyush sir asked the same question and I answered the same, that yes, we are pretty sure that this doesn't exist. But suddenly when the question by Aman sir was about what about abroad, what about Europe and US, I think he mentioned US also, but I missed that part. And when they asked about this Europe and rest of the words, I blanked out. Right? It's a genuine reaction. I just blanked out. I was not prepared of what to say. And suddenly out of my mind, it came as, I was just not sure. Right? I was not sure about Europe or out of the word. I was very specific about India and USA because we know Fume existed. So we agreed for Google search, and Google search happened. And for our bad luck, a product came up. Flow came up first, but then another product came up, which I had never seen in my life. And the worst part was the pricing was shown in rupees. Right? We knew about Fume. So Fume is a USA brand, and there it clearly shows that it's a USA website in India, the Shopify feature. But in that moment, I just saw the price, and at that moment, I just froze. I could have handled it better. There are hundreds of better way to handle it. But because I didn't know about this product existing, and the price was shown in 4,000, even we were convinced that this is an Indian brand, but it was an abroad brand, but they ship to everywhere. I could have handled it properly, but I just gave up the moment I saw the Indian rupees. I tried saying them that it's wooden, it's different. I think there was a bad notion set from the first interaction in the tank, and this was the final nail. It was a genuine mistake. It was never my intention to mislead anybody, and I take full responsibility. To be frank, I think Sharks went easy on me. We deserved the criticism. I feel like smacking myself the moment I said I was not sure, because who the founder doesn't know their competitors? I was confused, I blanked out, I didn't handle it properly, I just gave up, and I take the full responsibility for that. It was never my intention to mislead anybody. But whatever we said at that portion, when I said I designed, I meant it. We designed Flow 2.0. But yes, the concept existed, the word. The point when we were designing, we were not inspired by any product, but the moment once the final prototype and the working prototype was ready, we saw that Fume existed. And truly talking, I had personally never seen the particular product that they showed. It's all reasons. I just can't keep telling reasons. It was a genuine mistake, and I regret doing that. But still, I should have been well prepared. I think this was one of the most common questions that they would have asked. We should have been well prepared. It was a lesson learned. And the next product we launched are gummies. So I'll go one by one. First one is zero craving gummies. A lot of questions were asked about this. This product was designed specifically for a purpose, right? As I said to you in the beginning, whenever a smoker quits smoking, usually it is very difficult for him to get past the evening portions, because in the morning he's occupied, he's busy, he's distracted. But once evening happens, everything gets accumulated. He's stressed, he's bored, he has the withdrawals, and he has sleep issues. That's when he convinces himself to have that one last puff. So now anyway, our flow was tackling that aspect for us. So now we wanted to correct the uncomfortableness that he was going through. That is where we designed zero craving gummies. So if you see the ingredients, it has melatonin, L-theanine, magnesium. If you see the evidence here, melatonin helps with acute withdrawals, L-theanine with nicotine pathways. Basically, it decreases the intensity of cravings. And then we have magnesium, and then we also have passion flower. So if you see, everything has a stronger scientific evidence that they work in the way that we wanted it to work. Right? This product was designed specifically for that purpose. But what went wrong? I think the biggest mistake that happened there was the way we communicated this, and the way it was understood was completely different. It was our mistake of the way we explained this. That is why any amount of evidence we provided was not sufficient, because this was assumed as a product which you start taking and you'll stop smoking. Right? If you see, even in the pitch, we said that you take the gummies, it will fight your withdrawals, right? It will take the withdrawals away. That was the whole purpose of this product. But yes, it was our mistake. We should have clearly communicated and defended well there. But whatever they asked was absolutely right. But this also got discontinued after 2 months, because there was a couple of reasons. First main reason is the form factor. Having gummies for something as serious as this was not at all helpful. And the second reason is melatonin was not liked by most of our customers. So we had to discontinue that, and we have redesigned it again. I'll tell about that later. And then Renew Me gummies. So this is a standard hair, skin, nail gummies. The formulation is standard, slightly inclined towards smokers. So now you might ask why, right? When this already exists outside in the market, why? Who better than a smoker who is having a micronutrient malabsorption or a destruction due to smoking, the right person than anybody else? As I said to you before, we are building an ecosystem of everything helping you quit, fight, and repair. So in the repair category is where this comes into the picture. So this has been manufactured by one of the top manufacturers. They also manufacture this for another top brand. They're very big in India as of now. And we sell this at a very affordable price. If you see, the MRP is 1499, but we price on website at 799. But when you buy this along with Flow, this comes somewhere around 600, 650 rupees. That's why this also was included. So that was everything from us, what happened there and the questions asked. After the shoot, what happened? So after the shoot, we took the feedback very seriously. I think most of the feedback was not shown there. There was some incredibly valuable feedback given by Piyush sir, Vinita ma'am, and Namita ma'am especially. So we followed all of those feedback, we learned from our mistakes. And if you see our third generation of products on the screen, we have changed the brand identity because now we are aiming for a long-term vision. Also, every product has been designed with an intent and purpose. Every ingredients, we have collected strong scientific evidences for that. So I made a mistake in Shark Tank and it's my responsibility. I should have handled it better. I should have been more prepared. Lessons learned. And we have corrected all the mistakes that were pointed out because our mission is to make quitting easy and fun. Also follow for this journey from here on forth. Everything will be transparent. Every journey that we take, every process that we follow, it will be completely transparent, posted in this channel. Follow for this journey. Also help us make millions of them quit. I'll see you in the next video.